So today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to talk about the Indian state of Jharkhand. Instead, we're going to look at something, well, more fundamental, a blueprint for how you can understand it. We're going to unpack the entire philosophy behind this really unique book that's designed to help people master a huge, complex subject.
I mean, just imagine this for a second. You have to learn the history, the geography, the laws, the culture, the economy, the whole shebang for an entire state. And not just for fun, right? This is for a super competitive civil service exam where every single detail matters. Where do you even start? It's a classic case of information overload.
Well, for a lot of people in Jharkhand, this is the answer. The Jharkhand Sar Sangraha. Now, it's a guide, sure, but its real secret sauce isn't just in the facts it contains. It's in how it gives you those facts. It's the proposed solution to that massive problem of overload. And that gets us right to the core idea behind why this book even exists. It wasn't just slapped together. It was born from a specific philosophy, a direct answer to a frustration that, let's be honest, we've all felt when trying to learn something new.
The author, Arun Agrawal, he just lays it all out in the preface. He basically says that everybody knew there was a serious lack of to-the-point study material. You see, the problem wasn't a lack of information. It was about cutting through all the noise to get to what really matters.
So here's the bottom line. The book's whole mission is to distill, to take this mountain of information and break it down into something structured, something you can actually access, and, most importantly, remember. This is the guiding principle, and we're about to see it in action. Okay, so that's the philosophy, but how do you actually do that? How do you put it into practice? Well, let's take a look at the blueprint itself, the very structure that's designed to build your understanding one logical piece at a time.
Think about it, right? When you walk into some huge, unfamiliar territory, what's the one thing you want? A map. For a subject as massive as an entire state, the table of contents, that is your map. It shows you where you are, where you're headed, and how all these different parts connect. And check out where this journey starts. It doesn't throw you into the deep end with dense legal codes or weird economic data. No, it starts with the fundamentals, a general intro, the state's history, its traditional ways of governing. You're building a solid foundation before you build the house. It's smart. Okay, so once you have that foundation, the map leads you to more specific areas. Now you see the sections on land laws, state policies, and then a deep dive into art and culture. You see the flow? It goes from the big, broad history to the specific rules and expressions of that society.
And the next leg of our journey? It groups together the physical and economic stuff. So you've got geography, environment, agriculture, and the economy, all clustered together. This is so clever because it helps you see how all these things influence each other. And the final stop on our tour covers the modern political structure, a breakdown of each district, and a final catch-all section for other super important facts. By the time you get to the end, you've been on this comprehensive, logically planned tour of the entire state.
So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the whole architecture. You can see it so clearly here. It moves from the foundational stuff to the specifics, from the physical world to the political one. See, this isn't just a random list of topics. It's a carefully built path for learning.
Now, having a great map is one thing, but what do the places actually look like on the ground? Let's see how this philosophy of clarity gets applied to the actual content, everything from historical stories to really dense legal stuff. Okay, this is what I find so cool. On the left, you've got a historical movement, the Sardadari Andolan. On the right, a legal document, the Chotanagpur Tenancy Act. Two totally different kinds of information, right? A story versus a statute. But look, you can see they're using the same playbook, the same structured, broken-down approach. Let's zoom in on that history page. Instead of some dense wall of text that makes your eyes glaze over, it's immediately anchored with a timeline. Key events are just pulled out into simple bullet points, and this is the best part. This really complex 40-year movement is visually broken down into clear phases in a diagram. It's literally designed for you to get it fast. Now, let's flip over to the law page. I mean, this stuff could be so dry and impossible to get through, right? But it's not. It's organized neatly by section number, or dara. Each section gets a big, bold heading telling you what it's about. Specific legal bits are indented, making it all visually clean. It basically turns a super complex law into a quick reference guide.
So, what does all of this really mean? Well, it all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea: the amazing practical power of structure.
Think about this number for a second. 91.
That's the number of distinct topics covered in this book's table of contents. That is a staggering amount of information. But the system, the structure, it handles it. It makes this massive scope feel manageable, not scary.
And this is the thing I really want you to walk away with. Good structure doesn't just put things into neat little boxes. It actually builds pathways in your brain. It connects ideas for you. It transforms a boring list of facts into a web of knowledge. It actively creates understanding where there used to be just confusion.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. This book gives people a blueprint for understanding an entire state. But that philosophy, that could apply to anything, couldn't it? Learning a new language, figuring out how to code, mastering a musical instrument? So the real question is, what complex subject out there could you finally conquer if you just had the right blueprint?